What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. I want to give credit to the brother Reef for putting this out there yesterday in a video. One of the last remaining elders survived that survived the Tulsa massacre back in 1921 has passed away. Hughes Van Ellis, one of the last surviving victims of the Tulsa massacre from 1921, in which a white mob killed hundreds of black residents, died Monday at a Veterans Hospital in Denver, Colorado. He was 102 years old. He had been receiving treatment for cancer that had recently spread to his brain. Along with Leslie Benningfield Randall, 108, Mr. Ellis and his older sister, who's still alive, Viola Ford Fletcher, 109, were the last known survivors of the 1921 massacre, in which a heavily armed white mob killed hundreds of black residents and burned down much of Tulsa's prosperous Greenwood district to the ground. The killing and destruction made it one of the worst race terror attacks in U.S. history. On May 31st, 1921, a black man, Dick Rowland, was falsely accused of assaulting a white woman in an elevator in downtown Tulsa. After he was jailed, a group of armed people, fearful he would be lynched, gathered outside the county courthouse to ensure his safety. Hundreds of white residents of Tulsa called on the sheriff to turn Mr. Rowland over, and according to a 2001 report by the Oakland Commission to study the Tulsa race riot in 1921, a black man's gun went off when a white man tried to grab it. The white mob spread out through downtown Tulsa, shooting black people on sight and setting fire to businesses in Greenwood. The destruction eradicated a thriving district known as Black Wall Street, where black entrepreneurs owned and ran restaurants, hotels, theaters, and other businesses. As many as 300 black people were killed and more than 1,200 homes were destroyed. The charges against Mr. Rowland were eventually dropped. The commission report said the authorities concluded that he had most likely tripped and stepped on the woman's foot. In 2020, Mr. Ellis, Ms. Fletcher, and Ms. Randall joined descendants of other victims of the massacre in filing a lawsuit seeking reparations for the losses they endured. Several defendants were named in the lawsuit, including the City of Tulsa, the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, the Oklahoma National Guard, and the city's Chamber of Commerce. A judge ruled in May 2022 that part of the case could proceed. It was dismissed in July 2023, but the state's High Court agreed in August to hear an appeal. Hugh Van Ellis was born in Hoddenville, Oklahoma on January 11, 1921. He was not yet 5 months old at the time of the massacre, after which his parents fled Tulsa with their 6 children, leaving their home and possessions. The family eventually grew to 8 children. Mr. Ellis told members of a House Judiciary Committee subcommittee in May 2021, because of the massacre, my family was driven out of our home. We were left with nothing. We were made refugees in our own country. He was drafted and served in an all-black combat unit in World War II. He married Mabel V. Ellis in 1942, eventually settling in Oklahoma City. Mr. Ellis worked as a sharecropper and as a mechanic at what is now Tinker Air Force Base. He also worked as a janitor, a gardener, and a gas station attendant. He and his wife eventually had 7 children and settled in Denver. Miss Ellis, or Mrs. Ellis, died in 2011. In addition to his sister and Miss Watson, Mr. Ellis's survivors include another daughter, Maylie V. Kraft. Complete information about his survivors was not immediately available at the time of this obituary. It's estimated that over 300 black Tulsa residents lost their lives during the Tulsa massacre back in 1921. 300 people. And once again, really no justice, no reparations, nothing. And you can't say that was a long time ago. For him, doesn't matter. You can't say it didn't directly affect him because it did. So these are all just convenient excuses, you know? Always have been. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it, man.